Moving on to Europe, the Eurostat has reported that Eurozone industrial production and trade took major hits in April, likely reflecting the impact of US tariff announcements. Industrial production fell 2.4% on the month, exceeding already weak expectations. The trade surplus also sharply declined to just 9.9 billion euros. This reversal, larger than anticipated, indicates downside risks to the bloc's economic growth forecasts. Despite the downturn, recent surveys suggest some modest optimism in manufacturing, hinting the sector may avoid a deeper recession. Eurostat has reported that the European Union's goods trade surplus with the United States expanded in April even after U.S. tariffs, while the bloc's exports to China dropped for a ninth consecutive month. Data showed that the European Union surplus in goods trade as a whole declined to 7.4 billion euros from 12.7 billion euros in April 2024. Both exports to and imports from the United States increased for a fourth consecutive month in April. The bloc's surpluses with Britain, Switzerland, and Mexico fell, while its deficits with China, Norway, and South Korea widened in April. The European Commission has revealed that countries' plans to expand nuclear energy will require 241 billion euros in investments and new funding instruments to make these huge costs less risky for private investors. In a draft analysis of investment needs, the Commission noted that European Union countries plan to increase their nuclear power capacity from 98 gigawatts currently to 109 gigawatts by 2050. These plants would require 205 billion euros for new plants and an additional 36 billion euros to extend the life of existing reactors. The Commission also warned that a 5-year delay in new projects could add 45 billion euros to the total cost by 2050. Still in Europe, the Status has reported that Germany's consumer prices maintained a steady annual growth rate of 2.1% in May, matching the figure posted in April. The Status president, Ruth Brand, noted that the inflation rate has stabilized, mainly due to the continued decrease in energy prices. However, she added that the rise in food and service prices drove inflation up in May also. Inflation based on the harmonized index of consumer prices slightly softened to 2.1% in May, down from 2.2% in April. Excluding volatile food and energy costs, core inflation stood at 2.8% in May. The Economic Institute DIW Berlin has stated that a conflict between Israel and Iran could dampen the outlook for the German economy if it leads to an increase in oil prices. DIW chief economist noted that oil and energy prices are a major factor shaping sentiment, taking a toll on private consumption. She added that for inflation to rise sustainably, energy prices would need to show more lasting effects. However, even short-term changes are quite decisive for sentiment and private consumption. She highlighted that the surprisingly dynamic start to the year is likely to spare Germany from another year of stagnation. UK Trade Minister Jonathan Reynolds has expressed the country's readiness to implement its side of a tariff deal with the United States. He's also hopeful for a proclamation from the U.S. President Donald Trump to put the agreement into effect into the coming days. Reynolds added that he would issue a government order known as a statutory instrument to implement the changes to reciprocal tariffs. He also highlighted that one of the details to be ironed out before the deal can be implemented is steel quotas.
I imposed this 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles and investment in American manufacturing and auto manufacturing.
Britain's statistics regulator has ruled that official data on how rich British households are, compiled by the Office for National Statistics, can no longer be considered reliable. It added that falling response rates and insufficient investment have greatly affected the quality of survey data that assesses the financial well-being of households throughout Great Britain. The regulator further noted that it had given the Office for National Statistics instructions on how to improve the data and expected a progress report in September.